Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Midwest Gaming Classic Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Garris, panel director of the Midwest Gaming Classic. And this evening, we're talking about The Voice. Not the TV show, mind you, but about two particular people who are recognized in the video game industry as one, providing the voice to a particular character, and two, providing music for a particular character series. Jon St. John is instantly recognizable by a generation of gamers for being the voice of Duke Nukem. Johnny Gioeli's music is recognizable to anyone who has played a Sonic the Hedgehog game since 1999. Find out what it's like to be associated with an iconic video game character and the differences and similarities in performing one as a voice versus performing for one musically. And let me tell you, this is a really good episode. This panel is full of fun and good questions from the audience, and it's also presented by Arda Okel, who is known for being a WWE spokesperson or online person who basically asks questions, a commentator and so forth. And he's known for also being in esports commentary for the particular games that are going on and competitions. So, you know what? Enough of me talking. Why don't we get to the panel?
Johnny Gioeli, the singer behind the rock songs for the Sonic series since the Dreamcast, joins Jon St. John, the voice of Duke Nukem, which originally premiered on the PC, as they discuss what it was like to become associated with an iconic character in this presentation.
So welcome everybody, thank you for joining us here on this panel, How I Became Associated with an Iconic Character. Not me, these two gentlemen to my left. I am your moderator this afternoon. My name is Arda, and I will be asking the questions. Yeah, a big round of applause for me for asking questions, which actually half of my job will be walking around and making sure you get your questions asked. So my job is really easy. So first of all, the man to my immediate left has been in the music scene for over 20 years. You know him from Crush 40 and, of course, the music he's developed with Sonic. This is Johnny Gioeli. And the man who has done many voices in the world of video games and television as well. He actually started his career with Nickelodeon. We'll get to that as well. But of course, most famously known as the voice of Duke Nukem. He does a lot of projects. He's in movies. He's in video games. Jon St. John. So let's start here, gentlemen. We're going to get to how you became associated with the characters this audience certainly knows you most for. But John, I'll say John and Johnny. This is going to be very, John and Johnny. What a team J. Double J. So John, let's start with you. You didn't wake up one morning early in your career and become Duke Nukem.
What a dream come true that would be. John Cena did, though.
Apparently, the third John who couldn't make it to this panel, all of a sudden became Duke Nukem after years of taking bumps. So tell us a little bit about your career path and where your journeys have taken you.
Oh, okay. Well, my career started out at 14 years old in a small town in North Carolina where I decided I wanted to be a radio DJ. Went down to the local radio station, said I want a job. They said, well, let's hear you go downstairs and record some stuff for us. And I did. They said, okay, you're going to do a weekend shift starting this Saturday night. Ask your parents if it's okay. And so for about 2 years, my oldest brother would pick me up at midnight when I'd sign the radio station off the air at night. And my dad would drive me to work after dinner each evening. And it was kind of a family affair. You know, my parents allowed me to do that. And all through high school, I was boss jock DJ. And, you know, big man on campus, because when you're a DJ, everybody else in school thinks you're famous at that point, right? So I was a broadcaster for almost 40 years. The last station I worked at was KRS 101 in Los Angeles, which was an oldies station. And while I was in San Diego back in 1994, a casting director by the name of Lonnie Manella was in my studio to record some car dealer commercials. And she was doing all these wacky voices as we're testing the mics, and I started doing wacky voices in return, and she said, wow, you've got very good range. Would you consider voice acting in video games? And this was 1994. I don't think there were any voices in video games. I said, what are you, crazy? There's no voices in video games. She said, well, there's about to be, and there's this game I'd like you to audition for called Duke Nukem. And the first time, I don't know about you guys, but the first time I heard the words Duke Nukem, I laughed out loud. And I auditioned for the part and landed it. It was my first job. And oddly enough, my very first gig was Duke Nukem. We know what he's all about. My second voice acting job in video games was the Candyland Adventure.
Very similar.
Quite, yes.
Was your audition as Duke Nukem, was it very similar to the actual voice that you do for Duke Nukem?
Not originally. George Broussard, who was the creator, one of the creators of Duke, with 3D Realms out in Texas, his original thought was it should sound something like Charles Bronson. Was what, Charles Bronson kind of sounds like this. So I did this, and Lonnie went, no, that's not right. Lonnie said, do Dirty Harry. Do a Dirty Harry line. Do you feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? And Broussard said, I like that tone, but Duke is, roided out. And I said, well, lower the pitch a bit. And I went, do you feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? And right there, he said, oh, that's the voice. We want that. And it stuck. So all these years later, I'm still doing that. And it never gets old. It just doesn't.
So that's John. Johnny, let's get to you now. Many years in music, Crush 40, Sonic. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Okay, so
You're a Brooklyn boy.
I'm a Brooklyn boy, born in Brooklyn, raised in Howard Beach. I had a very famous neighbor named John Gotti, the mobster. Safe neighborhood.
Next door neighbor.
That was my next door neighbor, yes. Yes, I had John Gotti on one side. And
That's an hour-long panel, my friend.
I know. And witness protection, I'm not talking. So, just kidding. So, and then Franzini's on the other side, and was the cook. Anyway, that's a whole other panel, you're right. So, we transitioned from Howard Beach to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, the Amish country. So when I'm talking witness protection, I think I might have been in that, I don't know. My dad's not talking either. So it was then when my brother discovered this band called Kiss. And he saw a show in 1976, and he wanted to be a rock star, and of course I wanted to do whatever my brother was doing. So at 8 years old, I picked up a guitar and sort of figured it out, had a couple lessons, and then didn't know that I had this inborn thing to, make music or whatever. I started a professional career at 11. I'm going to make the terse and quick snapshot. So I have, 50, 60 albums out worldwide. You guys know all the Crush stuff, Hardline, Axel Rudy Pell, on and on and on. I still tour like a madman. I'm on tour till April of 2019. And and so I think my kid's name is Brandon, but I can't quite remember. And I'm going to retire soon and do some exotic dancing at the senior center. That's my next, because I haven't done that yet. So lucrative, yes. Good tips, yes.
Wow, you are busier than a one-legged man at an ass-kicking contest.
That's right, one-legged kickboxer.
Yeah, there it is.
But anyway, so that's basically my career. Started in 1998, did my first Sega thing with Sonic Adventure. Actually, no, it was before that. You guys, when did I do my first thing? It was the thrill of the feel of the thrill of the something of the feel. Yeah. Anyway, that was
thrill of the feel.
Feel of the thrilling of feeling.
Are you still talking about this exotic
feeling thrilled? So yeah, I get the dancing thing. I get the dancing thing confused. Anyway, 1998 I started, and thanks to you guys, it's been still going, still working with Jon St. We still write music together. We're working on something that I can't disclose, but it's wonderful.
How did the connection with Sonic come about?
So Jon St. was a fan of the band Hardline that I started with Neil Schon from Journey and Dean Castronova from Journey. And so he got in contact. Music industry is small industry. We all know each other. Incestuous. Yes, a little bit. And
nothing like video games.
Nothing like. So June contacted the guitar player of the band called Whitesnake, if you know them, and they called me and said, "Hey, this guy wants to do some video music." And I said, "What the heck is video music?" And when he showed me what was going to happen in the industry, I was actually pretty wowed. I thought, this is cool. Similar to what John was saying about character voices, I was blown away that there could actually be an opportunity where music is in a game like a soundtrack album is in a movie. So immediately I put my tiny little brain to work and said, June, we should form a band so that the fans can relate to the band or relate to the game or both. So that's how it actually starts. And I met June, we flew in from Japan to LA, we recorded some stuff, and I just texted him just 10 minutes ago. That's why I'm late and sweating.
So your processes certainly are a little bit different, but still for the same medium. So John, take us through how exactly the voice of Duke Nukem comes to life and the mechanics of it all. Like, how does it come about?
Gee, how do I answer that question?
Just like, so they tell you, okay, is it as simple as here's your script and these are the lines?
Pretty much, yeah. You know, the original Duke Nukem 3D game and the ones that followed in the early 90s, you know, Manhattan Project, 0 Hour, all of those. They were all directed by Lonnie Manella, who told me to keep my teeth clenched at all times. So I'm always talking like this and sounding like I'm very angry all the time. Which I guess worked out pretty well for the character. As years went by, and the funny thing is, you know, Duke Nukem Forever, that game took them 12 to 14 years to finally put out, which really pissed off the fans, because when it did come out, they expected the graphics to look like Call of Duty. I said duty. But it was an old school game, so the critics panned it pretty bad. But the true fans know that it was still in the tradition of Duke Nukem. It was the same character, the same kind of action and interactivity. But the beauty of the Duke Nukem Forever game was when they called me and said, hey, we're actually going to put this game out. We need you to record all the voice tracks. I said, you're going to fly me to Dallas? They said, no, you do it from your home studio, that'll be fine. And I said, okay, who's going to direct? They said, oh, you've been the voice of Duke for, you know, how many years now? Just direct yourself. I was like, all right, no more clenched teeth. So I got to start, you know, emoting a little more and being, you know, having a little more personality and inflection to the voiceover. And so Duke has changed a little bit over the years, but mostly because it went from 8-bit recordings to 16-bit recordings. So some fans will go, has your voice changed? No, it hasn't. The difference between 8-bit recording and 16 means you can actually hear the quality of it now. You know, you couldn't tell in the old days that those 8-bit recordings in the original Duke games sounded like crap.
How much of the recording you did for the Duke Nukem games happened in your home studio?
Everything since Duke Nukem Forever. I do all the recordings from my home studio now.
So is it like you literally roll out of bed, go down to your studio?
Oh yeah, do it in my bathroom with a cup of coffee.
That's the image I want you guys to take home when you're sorry. Releases. Imagine him recording in his bathrobe with nothing underneath, and that's how you can now enjoy playing.
God, that's a mental image even I don't want to have. So sorry, you guys. That's just inappropriate.
So, like, it's interesting because I mean, both Sonic and Duke Nukem are experiencing this resurgence, right? Like, there's new Sonic games out on different platforms. Duke Nukem is in movies. Ready Player One is a great example, even as a cameo. Like, so tell us about that.
Oh, you know,
how long did that take?
I just knew about a year ago. Randy Pitchford, the president of Gearbox, called. He goes, "Hey, just want to let you know Steven Spielberg has licensed the Duke Nukem image for his movie Ready Player One." I was like, "Yeah, give me a voice line, give me a role." He said, "Oh no, they don't want any voice in it. He's only going to appear for 4 to 6 seconds." I was like, "Oh, great." But still, I'm thrilled that Duke makes the leap to the big screen, which is kind of nice. And then the rumor started going around a little while ago that Jon St was talking to what's his face? Big Bombs.
Michael Bay.
Thank you, Michael Bay.
Don't you love how we all knew that? Oh yeah, Big Bombs, Michael Bay.
Everybody but me, because I really was not that psyched to hear that Michael Bay was going to direct the film. But director for a Duke Nukem movie, why not Michael Bay, right? It's a perfect choice. My only beef with it is that I wanted it to be an R-rated CG movie. So unlike all of the other video games that became movies, this one could stay authentic. It could look like the game. It could feel like the game, sound like the game. But no, Michael Bay's going to do live action mixed with CG, so there'll probably be some freaking Transformers in the movie. And Jon Cena will be the next Duke Nukem. Hopefully not in the games. My fingers are crossed that the movie brings Duke into the masses, you know, people outside of the video game industry who've never heard of Duke Nukem before, and perhaps will sell more games in the future based on the fact that the movie could be a hit. Though, don't hold your breath. How many video game movies have been really good?
I don't know, that Super Mario Bros. Movie from the 90s was amazing. Come on, let's hear it. Big round of applause. Are you kidding me?
Why do you gotta be
Epic. So, Johnny, how about this? I mean, Sonic, certainly people in this room know your work with Sonic, but how much, like, throughout your travels, do you get associated with that character? Like, does it always get brought up to you on a daily basis, or is it only at conventions like this? Like, how often do you hear it?
Oh, it's actually, it blows my mind. The fan base is immense. It's like larger than any project I've ever done, to be honest with you. And, you know, the numbers here prove it. And it was just funny because tonight we're doing this after show party thing, right? And I'm going to sing.
None of you are invited, by the way. It's just for us elites.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. So if you don't have this, you're not going. No.
Hey, they didn't tell me about it.
You see this? It says VIP people.
So, I know, right? You can have mine. So tonight, I don't know, like 9:30, so I'm going to sing some of these tracks. And in preparing for it, I just went onto Spotify and I'm like, okay, shoot, I want to remember how to do this one properly. And I'm like, what? 1.9 million plays? What? Are you kidding? Then I realized I'm not collecting royalties on those, and I better call Harry Font's agency right away. No. So, yeah, it blows me away, really, honestly. The fan base is very loyal. There's Rabbit, that's a good one too, yeah. Extremely loyal, and so when I walk down the street, they're like, hey, Johnny, Crush 4. Yeah, still happens, and it's pretty cool.
Take us through the process of having created one of the Sonic songs. Say the first one. Like, what were your inspirations? What was the direction that you got? Like, how did that come about?
Well, so I'll take one game in particular, like Sonic Heroes, for example. I remember June flew to my home studio in LA. I was living in LA at the time. And so they always start with a storyboard, just like a movie. And so as a songwriter, I have to try to make the scene work. So they give me guidelines, they give me drawings, they do it in Japanese, and I don't understand anything. To this day, I don't know why they sent it to me in Japanese. So, but anyway, no, it's in English also. So then I read about what the scene is going to be, and then Jude kicks off a little bit of melody that he hears for that scene, because music is a feeling. So you have a scene that's trying to portray something, you're trying to make that scene pop, and then you want to support it with music and make the feel kind of work. So that's really been the process. Storyboard, this is what the scene's about, and then June comes to my studio, and I just go wild lyrically and with melody and just kind of do my creative thing.
Oh, I have a follow-up to that.
Okay.
Okay, so you know our association with Sonic Adventures and Sonic Heroes. I'm Big the Cat.
Hi.
Did you write the music for that stupid Big the Cat fishing thing?
No.
And I was going to ask what your inspiration was for that, but it was probably the stupid-ass voice I did for Big the Cat.
Maybe it would have been, but it wasn't.
You seem very proud.
Yeah, you know...
Can you make that voice again?
Froggy, you don't look so... Where's my Froggy? Have you seen... You don't look so good, little buddy.
I'm so proud of that work.
Applause.
Yeah.
How often do people ask you to do the voices when they meet you? Like,
every time. Everybody wants a recording of Duke Nukem saying something to their friend. Usually at panels, I end up plugging people's phones into the PA and doing prank calls as Duke. I end most of my panels that way.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I do custom recordings for money as Duke. I'll say this is Duke, but I won't say this is Duke Nukem because I don't own the rights to Duke Nukem. But I'll happily say this is Duke and it's Johnny's birthday. Happy birthday, Johnny, you ugly son of a bitch. $150, please. Thank you. Gotta make money somehow. video game work is, those projects are few and far between. I make most of my money doing commercial work.
So tell us, actually, you do have a really interesting resume outside of video games as well. Nickelodeon, commercial work, take us through that. In fact, you have a little claim to fame with Nickelodeon as well.
Well, amongst my children anyway. I have 3 kids who are all, well, they're not kids anymore. My youngest is 20. But as they were growing up, they didn't give a damn that I was Duke Nukem or Big the Cat or Axe or Kunka or any of those, characters I do. But I used to do sound design for Nickelodeon when they would put out SpongeBob DVDs. I was the announcer voice, and I would put the sounds together and mix the music and such. And one of the projects, one of the first ones I did was called Legends from Bikini Bottom. And when they were putting that DVD together, they said, we need a sound effect for this logo that we use, which was, if you guys grew up watching Nickelodeon, remember the splat, the orange splat? Okay, so I had to create a sound effect for that. So I did 20 takes of me going until I layered 3 of them together that I thought were just right. And they used it on the DVD, and then they called me back and they said, hey, we'd like to use that for broadcast. We'll pay for it. Okay. So every time that splat appeared on screen on Nickelodeon, that was me going. My kids thought that was the coolest thing.
But do you know how difficult it is for John for career day at school when he has to come in and go, here's my dad. Thank you, kids.
But my kids thought it was cool that I was Duke Nukem and Big the Cat. They liked that. My kids didn't care, though. I mean, they lived with that.
My kids now, so they don't quite understand. So my audience is predominantly Europe and Asia. So I think I'd be lucky to put 10 people in a Starbucks to do a show here in America. But in Europe, as you guys, some of you know who follow me, it's 40,000 seats and up. It's insanity. My kids
the
don't
German
get it.
Comic-Con is 227,000 attendees. That's way bigger than any Comic-Con.
It's massive. My son used to scream cry when I was in a car heading to JFK. He'd scream cry, don't leave, don't leave. Now he's like, go make that money, Dad. Make that money. Make that money.
College.
It's funny, okay.
So the characters themselves, right? I mean, the panel is how I became associated with these characters. Sonic, has stood the test of time. Duke Nukem has stood the test of time. Are you guys surprised by that, or what do you think are the biggest reasons, in your opinion, why these characters are still enjoyed so much today?
Not a clue, just thrilled that they are. I'm being honest, man. That's true. I didn't even know Duke Nukem was anything for the first 10 years that game was out, or I would have started doing convention appearances a long time ago. I thought the only fan was my late brother who lived in Virginia while I was in San Diego, and we played Duke Match online, with an old modem. It took 5 minutes to connect, and then you get knocked offline every 15 minutes, and after a week, you can relate to that. I had no idea Duke was anything until my first con appearance in Killeen, Texas, outside of Fort Hood. This anime con who said, are you really the voice of Duke Nukem? Yeah. Would you come to our convention? Okay. And there were, 1,000 fans who wanted autographs. And I went, oh my God, this Duke Nukem is something after all. I had no idea.
I better make t-shirts.
I think, speaking for Sonic fans, and it was just it's a good memory. It was a good place, right? I mean, you grew up with it. It felt good. It was cool music. It was fun. It was decent games. Some not so good. But, do you want to name them? Good. So
it's a very polite crowd.
Yeah, it's very polite.
The Sonic 3.
I just don't understand why we don't make an Adventure 3. Why not?
Thank you.
Okay.
I want to know why Sega hasn't changed the damn cast every time they do Sonic anything.
Why not?
Why? So I can keep making money. What do you mean, why not? No, I'll be honest. I handed the reins to Kyle Hebert. You probably know Kyle from Dragon Ball Z and all the work he's done. He was the last Big the Cat. Well, there were only 2, me and then Kyle. He did it for about 8 months, and then Sega killed the character off. So until the end of time, I'll blame Kyle Hebert for killing Big the Cat.
So Big the Cat ever makes a comeback?
No, they swear they killed him off.
It's like, of any character that will ever maybe come back, Big the Cat is not on the list.
No, I'll never have to do that stupid voice again, except at conventions. Thank you all.
But you make t-shirts.
There you go.
Before we get to some questions, I know you guys have a lot. I'm going to actually walk around, so just feel free to raise your hand, and I'm going to come around with a bunch of questions. Tell us what's on your plate now. You guys are very busy. I know you're touring till like 20,775 or whatever it is. But you guys have some cool stuff on your plate coming up. Tell us about it, John.
Oh, okay. As soon as I get home, on Tuesday morning, I'll start recording This Is the Police 2, which is a pretty cool game, a role-play game, about a cop who's about to retire after 30 years and he's becoming corrupt. He's going to steal $500,000, depending on how you play the game. His name is Jack Boyd. He talks like this. He's kind of a hardened badass. Several other games that I've signed NDAs for, you know how that goes. I can't talk about them. I can't tell you that Duke Nukem is being inserted into other games that are not Gearbox games, like Wild Buster Heroes of Titan. You can now play Duke Nukem in that game. The Bulletstorm game, full clip edition. You can, instead of playing Grayson, which is Steve Bloom's character, screw you, Steve, I'm kidding. You can play as Duke Nukem now. And the main thing that I'm pimping at all of my con appearances right now is that I'm starting my own convention next February. It's called Jon St. John's Not Con at Sea, and it is a cruise from Miami to the Bahamas for 3.5 days. And for under $600, you can get your cabin for the whole thing. You can get your badge and all the alcohol you can possibly drink. And we have adventures like kayaking, jet skiing, a pirate treasure hunt on Coco Cay, which is the island that Royal Caribbean owns. So I'm gonna take $200 of silver coins, put them in a chest, bury them somewhere on the beach, and then give clues for somebody to find them. That's cool. But if you're interested in coming along on my cruise con, I have Todd Habercorn coming along, also Ellen McLean, who's GLaDOS in Portal, and her husband John Patrick Lowry, who's the famous sniper. They are going to be guests on board. And just go to notcon.us. That's trip.notcon.us. And maybe in February you'll consider coming along on my cruise con.
And maybe he will do an answering machine message for you. Just maybe.
Everybody gets a voicemail.
Everyone.
Everybody gets a free one.
Sweeten the pot.
If you come on the cruise con, don't ask me for one free here at this convention because, no, I'm kidding. I might do it.
I am starting a new line of sequin jockstraps to be released through the Nordstrom. I'm just kidding. It's a little itchy. What do I have next? Just released an album with Axel Rudy Pell called Night's Call. I leave next Saturday for 17 shows. Let's see what else I have. I've recorded 4 or 5 albums in the last 4 months. It's been insane. Yeah, but the one I'm most excited about, sorry, Axel, I looked up like he's up there. Axel, he's not up there. But is my solo album, my first solo album in 50 plus albums, which is pretty cool. And all right, thanks. And were you a pledger, sir? Did you pledge? Oh, you cheap bastard. Okay.
By solo, are you playing all the instruments?
I am not. So, solo as being my first record that I wrote without the other writers. But I do play all the instruments, but not on this particular album. So it's pledgemusic.com /Johnny Gioeli. And the reason I ran it through Pledge was because donating all the money to this young man, Joe Barber, who had a diving accident and became paralyzed in my hometown. So I said, I got to do something. And, short of just cutting a check and saying, here you go, because everyone can do that, and that's great. It's awesome. We need to do that. It's very expensive, I said, I got to do something more. So I involved fans all around the world through Pledge. We're 214%. We've raised a lot of money for this kid. Yeah, it's really cool.
That's really
The concept is so cool. I'm so proud of it. It's called One Voice. And the album cover is my image, but with thousands of fans in my body. It's cool. And that comes out July 13th. So, and then, of course, I'm just touring forever.
Starting on iTunes?
Yes. Yeah.
Buy it on iTunes. Fantastic. I want to make sure I left ample time for all the questions. I said, just raise your hand. I'm going to come around, try and get to as many of them as possible. I will bring the microphone. I see you raise your hand first. Let's go with you. What is your name, sir?
Eric. actually one of the other guests. Question.
Hi, Eric.
Being a musician myself, what is your favorite acts?
Oh, favorite acts. And you mean AXE or ACT?
AXE for
Okay,
sure.
yeah. I'm a Les Paul guy. I'm a Gibson Les Paul guy. He's an old school. What's that?
No love for carbon?
No,
I'm a Les Paul guy. I'm a humbucker Les Paul guy.
There
Yes.
you go. What is your name, sir?
My name's Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
I was actually wondering, how did you guys feel about your projects before and then after? Looking back.
That's a good question. Got this, Joe?
I was relying on you.
Same.
Well, you know, they all vary. I was excited about a lot of the games I did, and then playing them later on, I was not too thrilled with them. Sometimes I'm not happy with my performance, but not based on what I did, but what the director required from me. Like there's this game called Evil Zone, which is by far my worst acting ever, but it's because I was doing exactly what the director wanted. Look it up sometime. It sucks. I'm dead in that game, and the performance is just stilted, stupid. The voice is bad. So sometimes, you know, you'll play a game after you've recorded it, just wondering what it's like, and it sucks. I have a little story about a Sega Dreamcast game, if I may. What was
Sega Dreamcast, of
Anybody
course.
remember that thing? The game was called Blue Stinger, and there was the director was on the phone from Tokyo directing, you know, in Los Angeles where I was recording. And I was the narrator in several parts in it, but we're doing the narration role, and I'll give you the Reader's Digest condensed version. She goes, okay, at the end, we want you to say, you know, da-da-da-da, Blue Stinger. I went, Blue Stinger? She goes, no, Blue Stinger. Okay. New from Sega Dreamcast, Blue Stinger. No, Blue Stinger. Okay. New from Sega Dreamcast, Blue Stinger. No. I swear to God, 72 frickin' takes of me going, Baloo Stinger. And they take 36 of Baloo and take 50 of Stinger. And then when the game came out and I played it, it's me going, new from Sega Dreamcast, Blue Stinger. Thank you for wasting my time. So we're not always happy with the outcome, you know, long and short of it. Some games I'm very happy with, like Duke Nukem Forever. I love the way that came out. Twisted Metal 4, I don't know if you guys ever played that. I'm that crazy sweet tooth spokesperson clown. This sounds like the Crypt Keeper from HBO. I was very proud of that, though. My voice was like this for 3 days after recording it.
What does an average recording session for you take?
It all depends on how much dialogue there is, but like Duke Nukem Forever, I remember that took me about 3 hours to do every line. And I give them like 10 takes of every line so that they have choices. Cool.
What's your name?
Emmy?
Hi, Emmy.
So, to kind of both of you, what would be some basic advice to that you can give to someone who wants to get into singing or voice acting?
Stay in school.
It's not an option.
I'm just kidding.
I always say don't quit your day job because voice acting, you're not going to make a living on it overnight. It's going to take years to build up a client base.
Yeah, you know, that's a very good question. Hard one to answer. Creative people, you know, that whole industry, it's difficult. You have to start. I'll tell you that right there. And it's a lot of resources. You know, you have to just connect with as many people in the industry as you possibly can. Work the contacts, be proud of your work, go to conventions, talk to people, show them your work, social media, do the whole thing. I mean, you guys know more than us old folks up here how to do this stuff.
I have to use an iPhone because I'm old. That and creative guys like us, we're left-brained. So we're not intellectual, we're creative, and that makes the business part of it rather difficult.
Actually, I have a follow-up to that. Is you told the story earlier about how you were a broadcaster and somebody heard your voice and said maybe you should consider voice acting. Was that ever a dream? If that meeting never happened, would you have eventually gotten into voice acting at all?
I think I would have, yeah, because the radio broadcast industry went to hell in about 1992. And for any of you who are interested in radio broadcasting, it is not a career choice. Don't do it. Trained monkeys sitting at computers run radio stations now.
But I gotta tell you something. I always wanted to have that voice. And I'm going to give you an example. Listen to the difference. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Hey, baby, how you doing?
See what I'm saying? That pisses me off.
It ain't all that great. I'll answer my phone rings at home, I'll go, Jon St. John Productions. And there's nothing. And I'm like, is this a solicitor? Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were recording. No, I'm live. I just sound like this, I can't help it. But you know what? Voice actors, most of us don't like my natural voice I'm speaking in right now. I think I sound nasally and whiny, and I can't stand my natural voice. Thank you. You can't either. But when I put on a voice, then I'm happy with my performance. But my regular voice, I can't stand it.
And mine, I need it because I have to live and learn! I need it up there.
What's your name, sir?
Sorry, speaker.
My name's Jody. I had a question for Jon St. John.
I'll answer it.
I'm a big fan of voice acting in general. I was just wondering, who are some of your favorite voice actors?
Mostly because they're my personal friends, too. Billy West is one of my favorites. You guys know who Billy is.
Yeah.
He's the entire cast of Futurama. He's the Honey Nut Cheerios bee. He's the Red M&M. He was Cat Dog. He was Ren and Stimpy. Also Jim Cummings, who is Winnie the Pooh and Tigger. And the most impressive thing, Disney owns Jim Cummings, right? So he's always very appropriate everywhere he goes. He'll never say anything off color, except at Connecticut in Hartford, Connecticut. He and I are at a bar downtown Hartford, just the two of us drinking. And I said, I would love to hear Winnie the Pooh do a Duke Nukem line. He said, okay, what line? And I told him, I don't do a good Winnie the Pooh impression, but in my ear he goes, oh, rip off your head and shit down your neck. And I laughed until I cried. And hearing Winnie the Pooh do that, though Disney, are we being recorded? He never did that.
That's all you're saying.
And Jim Cummings, the reason he impresses me so much is not that he was able to pick up, in 1985 when he was in New Orleans, he got the job. He replaced Sterling Holloway. And Paul Winchell, who was Tigger. He does spot-on impressions. His impressions are so good, exactly, that in the movie The Lion King, you remember Jeremy Irons is Scar? Okay, great voice acting. But Jeremy Irons does not sing. And yet there's that song, Be Prepared. That's Jim Cummings doing his impression of Jeremy Irons singing that song. That's how good he is.
I wanted to hurt a voice actor one time.
Which one?
I don't know his name. In 1989, when most of you are just a thought, I filmed a movie with Francis Ford Coppola's son, Roman Coppola, called Smash, Crash, and Burn. It's a movie we filmed in Hollywood, was never released. Little did I know they replaced my voice with a voice actor, but it was like, hello, how you doing? I'm like, are you kidding me? So sometimes it can work against you. Not his voice. I want his voice.
I just want to be John Cena's voice.
After that movie, they will have you impersonate John Cena, impersonate Duke Nukem.
That could happen.
Speaking of Lion King, anyone play the Lion King game for Sega Genesis? That's a highly underrated game, in my opinion. Just wanted to throw that out. It is very difficult. Just throw it out there. Anyway, your question, sir.
Yeah, my question's for John. There is I hope this isn't too far off topic or anything, but there is a YouTuber for the channel Lazy Game Reviews by the name of Clint. And he does a fantastic impression of you. And he uses Duke Nukem as his character in everything he plays.
Right.
Just wondering if you're familiar with him at all.
I am.
He will have a lawsuit this week.
No, he does a pretty good Duke Nukem impression. And there are a lot of guys who do, and sometimes at the conventions when I do my panel, I'll do a Duke off, where I have people come up and do their Duke impressions. To my trained ear, they don't sound anything like me. But I'm glad that, that's quite a form of flattery.
Do you have people judge the Duke off? Like, is it like in front of a crowd and they cheer for? Have you ever lost?
Panel, just like, I don't do it.
You don't do it. I thought it was like you versus an impersonator.
No, I'll give them a line. I'll say okay, repeat this line from Duke Nukem Forever, which is my favorite. I had eggs.
Anybody here can do a good Duke Nukem? Raise your hand right now. Anybody here? Can anybody in here do it at all? Anyone?
You bunch of
yours is easy. Give this man a line and let's see how good his Duke Nukem is.
Okay. I had eggs for breakfast. Your mom had sausage. Okay. simpler one. You can do this one. Hail to the king, baby.
Hail to the king, baby.
Not bad.
All right. Yeah, everybody needs to remember us.
Hey, do you, what's your name, sir?
Jacob.
Jacob? Do you play games?
Yep.
You play Duke Nukem games?
Yep.
What's your console? PS4 or Xbox One?
Everything.
Which do you prefer?
PS4.
Come up here.
Here we go. See, it pays to, look at that, see that?
Storm, full clip edition. Don't play as Gracie, play as Duke Nukem.
I'm sure you take breaks to eat.
There you go.
Take time out for meals, of course.
Now, Jake's not done though, he has a question. Now we're going overboard.
That would be a good question. He's going to take that back.
What's the question, Jake?
Jon St. John, would you ever do the voice for Big the Cat if there was a Big the Cat fishing adventure?
Absolutely, because it pays money. Union staff. I'm an attention whore and well, it's true, and a voiceover whore. That means I'll record just about anything for money, with the exception of I don't do gun and knife show ads because there have been tragedies at gun and knife shows, and I don't support that. And a quick story, if I may. In November of 2015, I got a call from an ad agency in Los Angeles who asked me if I would be the voice for the leading candidate for president in the Republican Party. And I said, you mean Donald Trump? They said, yes. And I said, no, thank you. And I don't care what your political view is or mine. That doesn't make you right and me wrong. I just chose not to. I can do what I want to do, and I did not want to be the voice of Donald Trump's campaign. Okay, so I turned it down.
But if you were, what would it sound like?
I don't even know. But I said to my agent said, dude, this is a national ad campaign. It's good money, but I didn't want to do it. So I posted on Facebook how I hate to turn down jobs, especially a national paying job like this, but I couldn't in good conscience do it. And Huffington Post picked it up, Reddit picked it up, it went viral, and a month later I get a call from Wheaton Kennedy in New York, which is the ad agency for Anheuser-Busch. And the creative director there said, hey, I saw your thing about not wanting to do Donald Trump's ads. We'd like you to be the voice of the Bud Light Party. So all through 2016, on all those commercials with Seth Rogen and Amy Schumer, I'm the one going, the Bud Light Party, raise one to right now. And that was the highest paying job I've ever had. So stick to the what you believe in, and it may pay off.
And it did. We have time for a couple more questions. Jen, what's your name?
Oh, you're out of range.
I'm out of range. All right, let's move a little closer. All right, what's your name, sir?
Randy.
Randy, what's your question?
I just wanted to know, a year or two ago, they had an issue with the Video Game Association, the Actors Guild and such. Was that resolved satisfactorily for all the voice actors?
Not yet, no. I still can't do any AAA games because I'm not going to cross the lines. But I do a lot of independent games, so I'm still busy doing them. But the big ones like EA Sports, there's still issues there because the voice actors want residual pay. For like every 1 million games sold, they get another bump here and there. I don't care one way or another, quite frankly, but I'm not going to cross the line.
We have the same issues with music, with Spotify and all the digital downloading and stuff like that. And so you pay $10 subscription, which look, I have a Spotify account also, but then you have the world of albums that you can download, and the artists are not getting, if you knew it, we're getting 0.00379. Okay, that's like an igna frickin' penny. And so we shared a common, it's an ongoing battle constantly.
At least now we know what igno penny is.
Yes.
What's your name, sir?
Taylor.
Taylor, what's your question?
So, I got two short questions. One, could you do a Froggy for us?
Froggy, you don't look so good, little buddy.
How about Froggy doing a Duke Nukem line?
Yeah. I'm going to talk to your head and sit down your neck.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
That was slightly outdated. So, how was it doing Big the Cat personally? Like, how would you rate that between like your other jobs that you had?
I like a 0 to 10.
Yeah, like on a zero to 10.
1. Yeah, it was not enjoyable. No, but you know, one recording session for a video game is just like the other. I'm in a booth with a microphone and headphones and a script, so the experience is the same from one game to the next. You're just doing a different character. I know that makes it sound boring, but it's the truth.
Well, your big was spot on.
Oh wow! Thank you. Well, how about Coyote Bear's Big the Cat? Was it close to what I did? In your opinion? Because I don't think he did it justice.
I was gonna say kind of close, but not really. But
Yeah, I sounded stupider, I know. And I'm proud of that.
Let's all right, we got one more question here and then I'll let
No personal questions though, you know?
Yes, sir.
They're
What's your
all
name?
business. They're all business questions.
Ryan, what's your question?
Very serious crowd.
So I actually am asking for a friend who could make it. And this would actually work for both you two. If Jimmy Page or Josh Homme is the better guitarist.
Who say again?
My friend Sam's asking if Jimmy Page or Josh Homme from Beats and Stone Age is the better guitarist.
Way to put a guy on the spot.
Terrible, evil question. Evil. I don't know. It's an answer, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Toss up, man.
Toss up. Hard.
It's hard to rate guitar players as one better than the other because the styles are all so different.
Different people both have killer things going on. Sorry, bro. That was a shitty answer, wasn't it?
Good question. Shitty answer.
Since he's recording it, you might as well say it was an awful question.
That was an awful question. Don't ever ask that again.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
You pissed off Duke Nukem. How about, you like that?
Now I'm gonna rip off his head and shit down his neck.
Alright, last question from me is there a character or a job or something that you haven't done yet that you would love to do?
Keep it clean. Oh.
Any music for any game or anything at all? What would be like the something that's on your bucket list that you really want to do?
God, I so want to give you this brilliant answer, but that ain't gonna happen.
It's the embroidered job.
I would just be grateful to continue. You know what I mean? I think there's this little Sonic legacy. I like to try to carry it forward because I have a lot of fans come up to me and say, you know, that song changed my life, and I don't know how the hell it did, but it did. And that's what it's about. It's about a feeling. It's about having it mean something to you. So if I can continue making songs, making music that connects with people, I'm good with that.
And I'd like to just be able to create a new character voice that's never been heard before instead of imitating others. Like a lot of my characters are just me doing impressions of other actors, like Kunkka in Dota 2. That's just me doing my Patrick Stewart impression.
Hello, this is Captain Jean-Luc Picard of Federation Starship Enterprise.
You know, it's just that voice. Really good, actually. That was really good. Awesome. But a lot of the voices I do are
Can you chant we're number 2? We're number 2.
We're number 2.
Just in the Emoji Movie.
Listen, LaForge, take off that silly visor.
Alright, here's my last question for you. Who would win in a fight to the death, Sonic or Duke Nukem?
Duke would just destroy.
Come on, make a case for Sonic. I think Sonic might have some advantages. He's smaller, he's faster. I mean, come on. Duke's got the guns and everything, but still, Sonic might have some advantage.
If Duke could get one hand on him, he would rip his head off and shoot down his neck. So, you know, that's all it takes.
Who do you guys think would win in a fight?
I can't disagree with that.
Duke by far.
Always bet on Duke.
Anybody Sonic. Anybody Sonic. There
Hey,
you go.
listen, Sonic is training, all right? Give him some time.
It's gonna be a tie.
All right, that's our time. One more time, where can people find your stuff? Social media, anything?
Everywhere. iTunes, Spotify, record stores if they still exist. Everywhere. Worldwide.
Well, I have no room for any more friends on my personal page on Facebook, but Jon St. John-Duke Nukem on Facebook. If you want to like and follow me there, I list all my appearances. And my website, if you want to hire me for voiceover or recommend me for a convention, it's johnstjohn.audio, and there's no H in the first John. There you go.
You guys enjoy this panel? Yeah. Big round of applause for our panelists.
Do you have any married people? Married couples? Married couples. Your wife, where is she? She's
Why is she not sitting?
Where is she? Back there?
No.
There are 4 animals that every woman wants. A tiger in bed. Yes. A mink in the closet. A jaguar in the garage. And a jackass to pay for it all. Good night.
And there you go. That's the end of a very entertaining panel from the 2018 Midwest Gaming Classic. I hope you enjoyed watching it or listening to it as much as I enjoyed filming it and recording it. And I have to say that Arda O'Kell really kept things moving along, and Jon St. and Johnny Gioeli are great sports, taking questions from the audience and giving us all a little bit of behind the scenes of what it takes to do voice acting and musical arrangements for a couple of your favorite video games. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. Take care, stay safe, and game on.
When you decide to come out to this type of function, this type of experience, this type of gathering, Marvel phenomenon, there is only one event to attend, the Midwest Gaming Classic, where you and the games are one. Midwest Gaming Classic. It's not just child's play.